Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're live, and we've got an exciting episode for you. So welcome back to the Rethink Tank Live, the place where power meets scrutiny, and the headlines aren't always what they seem. Tonight, we're decoding the DOJ's release of Ghislaine Maxwell's interview transcripts, and we're going to be diving into Elon Musk's high-stakes showdown with Apple and OpenAI in a lawsuit that's being called a clash of two monopolists. And finally, we'll be investigating whether the World Health Organization is quietly constructing a market built on permanent pandemics. Let's re-examine what's really going on and embrace the motto, not afraid to rethink. All right, today we're just going to be diving right into it because we've got a lot to unpack, and I can't say I'm satisfied with as much as there is to unpack. Starting with, as I acknowledged, today we're going to be talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. So throw the algorithms out the window. We're going to be talking real. So ladies and gentlemen, and those moonlighting as truth seekers, gather around. Let me spin you a tale so bizarre, you'll swear the universe is trolling us. Last week, or was it in the next timeline, the Department of Justice, yes, the DOJ, dropped a bombshell. Over 300 pages of transcripts and audio from a July interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's infamous accomplice. This is according to The Guardian, The Wall Street Journal, AP News. Everybody's been reporting it. Now, hold your phones. Maxwell is serving 20 years for facilitating Epstein's child sex trafficking ring, convicted in 2021 on multiple counts, including sex trafficking minors and conspiracy. And here's the kicker. She was granted conditional immunity. Talk about a hallmark moment, so long as she tells the truth. Enter stage left. Maxwell says she never witnessed President Trump act in an inappropriate setting, calling him a gentleman in all respects. She insists she never saw him getting massages, but Deshaun can't get a defense like this. It's all baloney. Conspiracies. He never visited the island. Nothing. Zip. Nada. Cue the MAGA machine. See, she vindicated him. She's clean. They're all saying.
She's clean. No. She's not. It's such a horrible quote by them.
You're right. In the coven of conspiracies, she just handed them a trophy. But wait, survivor families like Virginia Joffrey's called foul. They said the DOJ is letting Maxwell rewrite history. Quote, she's trafficking illusions, not truth. They lamented it in the they made it real.
Forget it. He's rolling.
and oh, did I mention she was moved from a low security prison in Florida to a minimum security country club style camp in Texas? Texas just keeps getting weirder. Just after cozying up with the DOJ. Academy Award-winning performance much? I mean, it really paid off. Now, is the DOJ handing us access to justice or serving us a script written by unseen hands behind a velvet curtain? I don't know, Will. What are you thinking?
It seems pretty cut and dry to me. I think she's clean. I think that's what they said, right? She's clean.
That's what they told me. And we obviously have to believe it. Keep your head down. Ask no questions.
Well, my first initial thought, honestly, was I felt like, again, this happened in July. This was so quiet. This news reporting of this cycle, really quiet about this. And I haven't really read into much of what was on like the audio transcripts because I opened up the first one and it was like 130 pages long. And I was like, that was the first transcript. And I was like, wow, I probably the reason why nothing gets done is I just do like my generation Spark Notes it. I'm like, let's get the lowdown. Okay, next.
Well, and you know what's even more of a pain is like it's a transcript. Yes. Of a conversation.
Yeah.
So like there's going to be moments today where I read parts of it to the audience here and to you guys here in the studio. And it's like,
how's your day?
No, dude.
Good.
That would.
What was the weather like outside? Still pretty good.
That's a text conversation. This is taking a verbal dialogue and making it text. So it's like, you, what were you doing that day? And it's just like, when you read it, you're like, did Daffy Duck read this?
What
is
did
the
he say?
detective Daffy Duck?
It's like, what did he say? Can you mama make me happy?
Dude, all right. Maybe just rip the Band-Aid off and I could show some of it here. One of the things that I think it's better to just show you the collective instead of bringing up a slide by slide, all these different
How much people could deep dive these things and just go into infinite detail.
So much of this is go on your own, do your personal research. But I'm going to share my screen of some of the honorable mentions that I've found here on Twitter. But like, Will, we were talking about read what these people, how they read in a transcript. Jesus, there's so many windows, folks. I'm sorry. Okay. Like this one. Todd Blanche. Do you know whether Epstein ever did any business transactions with the Clintons? Ooh, this one I like. This one's a good one. I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure how to I don't know how to answer that strictly because I was part of the beginning process of the Clinton Global Initiative. And that was something that I helped with. And that was me, and Epstein may have helped me help them. And in that context, he may well have involved, and it continues, but
I'd like to say she's like on drugs or something, but in reality, she's just so nervous. She has probably so much memory of like what happened, who you were dealing with.
But see, here's the thing. It comes back to like when we talk about evil actors, like, the mustache man from Austria and stuff. Like, no evil person chooses evil.
Right.
And so what's crazy is if you and I had this woman's memories, we literally wouldn't be able to sleep.
No.
Like, dude, just imagine like dancing in the open corpse of a baby and being like, that's just a Tuesday.
The moral compass is a little skewed, to say the least.
Yeah.
Just
you know what? Here's one that I was trying to, hold off on all the zingers and the zangers for a minute here. But it's crazy the second you say Trump is good. He's free. He's vindicated. So many of the MAGA warriors just come to his defense. So in this tweet I have here, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's like, Ghislaine Maxwell says President Trump was never inappropriate with anyone and was a perfect gentleman in all respects. Hey, if that's what they're saying, who's saying it? Oh, it's a woman that was totally convicted with trafficking children en masse. That's like getting a cookbook or cook suggestions from Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, what are you talking about? This is insane.
That was great. We need to bring back bullying.
Yeah.
We need to bring back public shaming because that's shameful tweet.
Yes.
She read it and thought to herself, hell yeah. And hit send.
What's crazy is in the theory of branding written by Trump, part of the infection is that people truly believe that like all press is good press. So there's also a chance that we're creating half minds in these people.
Oh yeah, people
where they read it and she doesn't even believe it. She's like, it's gonna piss people off. Click.
And knowing her, wouldn't put it past her.
Lives for it.
Wouldn't put it past her. Dude, they had slightly off topic, but on her real quick. He had the potential mayor in New York try to bench 135, and she was like, couldn't even do it. And then she's just like doing a bunch of pull-ups and stuff like that. And someone was like, grown woman. This is how she's using the internet, grown woman. And I was like, yeah, he's got a point.
Yeah.
He's got a point.
I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah.
I don't need my mayor to bench much if they're great at socioeconomic planning.
Oh, it's like the dumbest, like, gotcha. Like, ooh, gotcha. Didn't bench 135. Shut up, dork.
Yeah, he was reading books.
Yeah.
Where my mayor should be.
It's just such a dumb, like he said, she said. like between like both sides. But back to this.
Yes.
I do want to ask a question though.
Hmm.
Throughout all of the Epstein leaks, why is it just always such a hyperfixation on Trump? Other than he is president, but it's like there is like again, like she just name dropped the Clintons, and I don't see a ton of conversation about it. You get what I mean?
Well, how about this?
And we don't 100% know what they did or didn't do. We just know
So
they're implicated.
the answer to your question is there a higher profile person than Trump?
No, there isn't.
No.
There isn't.
So
and I'll
it's
give you
the
that.
president. And even if he wasn't the president, we are talking about now an international figure that will be remembered for eternity.
Yes.
So
okay.
one, it's the big, it is the top of the heap. But dude, the scariest aspect of all of this, which everybody says it as loud as they can, can't say it enough, and yet somehow we still escape it, ignore it, throw our head in the sand. How do you get convicted in trafficking children en masse? To nobody.
Yeah.
Where's the list? And they're like, why do these people give a damn about the list? They keep asking about the list. I told them if they gave me their vote, I'd give them the list. And they just won't shut the hell up about this damn list. And it's like, because the only reason I get to implicate you is because you were in the same zip code of his free mansion, gallivanting at all the galas together for years. And if Hulu can give me a slideshow of gala after gala after gala of you two together, and even if the lying convicted felon says Epstein did not introduce you to your now current wife, first lady, there's enough swirling around there that people believe it.
Yeah.
So part of the problem is, dude, give us other names so I can be bombarding Tom Hanks's Instagram and not just yours.
Yeah. And that was like the thing with like when he and Musk had their like little like preteen drama between each other and they're falling out. And Musk tweeted out, he's like, Trump's on the list. It's like, we all know that. Who else is on this list? Like, say why they're on the list, what they did. So it's just like when he tweeted that, I had the same thought. I was like, was he just the one name you saw? There's no way that was the only name you saw. And like you just said, it's like we're still waiting to hear the other names implicated on this list. But we know which name they're going to say. And it's like, we all know it. That's why it's like no one's shocked. If you're shocked at this point that Trump was on the list, like the MAGA people that like couldn't believe it, just go outside, take a walk, touch some grass. There's more things out there because what the hell?
Well, but okay, I agree. I agree with you entirely. I don't want to overshadow that. But part of the problem is like the boomers that like my parents, a generation raised by the CIA. I mean, dude, oh my God. Okay, I'll save it. I'll save the bombshell. But like Robert Maxwell, her father, who is just an elusive chameleon that has lived 50 identities, was murdered at sea, apparently. But then because he was antagonist to the state, which we cannot speak of, and yet that same state, who definitely owns our country, totally gave him the highest honor burial. Not saying he's probably still alive and just wearing a different identity, probably like Jeffrey Epstein as well. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that this is a background of families that wear a million different hats. This is a culture of people that actually have no tie to their identity. That's part of what makes them even stronger, is that they just shed them like skins. And the bombshell that I'll probably save for a few minutes here is how they worked with BlackRock and I know the Rockefellers. I'm sure. Rothschilds and the Rockefellers to create all of our textbooks. So
that's cool.
When I say the CIA raised our parents, literally this same evil network, Ghislaine Maxwell and Robert Maxwell are directly tied with this company that gave you your historical, social, math narrative you were raised and grown on. It's crazy. So part of it is you're looking at a generation and you're like, Dad, 850,000 American children disappear a year. that shouldn't be okay for anybody.
Yeah.
That should be the number one problem for all the people. When you go look at me and go, dude, you are literally insane. You got to just focus on your life. And the problem is your whole generation lived that way. And now decade piled on decade, they've been able to just continue and snowball the problem because just go outside and touch grass. Okay, yes. Exercise, live a healthy life, throw the ball. But if you only play baseball, and now this is I just mean like, if I were to go out and touch grass, that's what I would do. Let's play a game of ball. It's the easiest. Let's all play baseball. But if all you do is play baseball, then you are also not solving quite literally the biggest problem we got right now. That's what I think. Global warming turned out to be a total sham. It's a financial gimmick. And even if it isn't, we're not at a rate where it's going to be our biggest problem. 850,000 Americans, which are so much higher priced because they're so much harder to take. Imagine being Haitian, where it's like, it's just like a piggy bank, free ATM. Just walk up and take one. It's the Clintons' favorite destination. I'm just saying this whole thing cannot just be just ignore. We've just ignored it.
That's not exactly.
I know. That's not what you were saying.
Yeah,
I'm piling on to go out and you are using it in a totally different aspect. I'm doubling down on we need to get out because we're fucking plugged in way too much and we're turning into antisocial psycho worms. But at the same time, we can't just throw our head in the sand about everything. That's what I wanted to season your point with is this is everything. Like, I don't want to say, go watch Candace. I looked at my dad. I was like, you got to watch the Brigitte Macron series. It'll blow your mind. There's 6 episodes. And then it's like, oh God, this has gotten so big that like every day for 4 days a week, there is an hour development of this story. And you're trying to just like input. And I'm not just saying just her. You go listen to plenty of these people and you're like, just try to retain as much. There's too much. And it's just all. When I'm sitting here going, why did you just talk about Macron's and the French president and whether or not he's married to a man in a dress? What is that? The fact that all this is connected, Epstein, dude, it blows your mind how it's just this. There is a one world government. What we thought Alex Jones was yelling about is it's coming. It's a new world order. Dude, it's here. It's been here. And little did you know you've been at war with it. You're so ignorantly strong as a human hive. You have been combating it and almost beating it, not even knowing that you're freaking fighting it. That's the beauty of the ignorance of living this moment right now.
Yeah. Is when it comes to like the Maxwell thing, this whole Epstein thing, it's almost like there's no like one easy route to like prevent it or stop it. No, like you mentioned, like just shy of 1 million kids a year just disappear. Like the idea of like just some like disappearing,
Gone,
right? You know, and it's like
never to be found.
In reality, it's like probably less than like an 1/8%, but it's like still 1/8% of like this entire country.
350 million people, 850,000 kids.
What freaks me out too is then like I'm thinking like again, we grew up in the suburbs. I couldn't think of a single kid that disappeared. You know what I mean?
That's
like, you know, that's like in reality, like we couldn't name a kid that just like, or even hear of like other communities, a kid just gone.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Dude, our parents, remember, like they grew up
That
where
happened.
you didn't even lock your doors, you know?
Right. And
well,
came,
but
and then
what
came the
started
missing kid
shifting
thing.
that?
Yeah,
Exactly.
the missing kid on the milk carton thing.
Milk cartons.
You know, but that's what I mean. It's like, I think I try to put it into perspective, like 850,000 people, right? Like just like a mass, like just a giant mass of humans just disappear. And like the idea that we grew up around and didn't hear about any makes it even weirder. You know what I mean?
So much of this is hiding it in plain sight, laughing in your face. The fact that, what is it?
The dude, what about the girl that was held captive in Cleveland for years?
But see, here's the problem.
That's
just one stray kook.
It's just like one of us.
This
like,
isn't the giant network.
Yeah.
And when that line gets conflated and blurred, now you've got this problem where people brush it off because they're like, that one nut in Cleveland isn't connected to it. It's like, yeah, we know that's not the point here.
Yeah.
That's how they're able to escape sitting down and truly thinking about how it starts with a W. What's the really crappy furniture company? It's like
Wayfair.
Wayfair.
Yeah.
So Wayfair had that huge breakout because they were selling kids. Allegedly not happening. Totally wasn't happening. They totally weren't.
Wait, what?
Dude, 2022, 2023, it was a whole breakout.
The furniture company was trafficking children?
No. Yes, no. See, hell no.
Okay.
See, all I'm saying is,
I guess I misheard.
it may have just been a marketing blunder.
Sorry, we didn't mean to run that ad.
But what was coming out was what you were shopping for were the kid that was, modeling the chair. And, that's why they were so expensive, these special ones.
These people make the guy from Cleveland that held those people in their basement look like reasonable, and that's what's awful.
So, boom, thank you,
That's
thank you,
what's awful
thank
about
you.
it.
No,
That's exactly,
but
hold on, Doug. That's exactly where I was going to take that point.
Yeah.
Which is when you start unpeeling how deep and how crazy it goes, like the second you look at your mom and dad who were raised on the milk cartons and go, little did you know, the FBI has shown in the Freedom of Information Act that was advertising for the network of kids that they've stolen. You come off crazier than the facts themselves because it's so untethered from something you could ever. It feels like a movie. It feels so unreal. You would never find that in suburbia. You never find that in your neighborhood.
Right, yeah.
And it's so untethered from what like you just said, that makes the guy in Cleveland look like chopped liver. It's like, that's what's terrible about this situation is it's so extreme that and then, I'll bring up dude, there's so many little popcorn facts. Oh, here's another one. You just keep thinking I'm crazy. The fact that I have an answer for everything you say, Dad, like, here you go. And the problem you face is the indoctrination is so deep that when you push it, like if you were to push my reality and say, just so you know, just like, like Star Wars, the answer is in the books. Difference between me and my boomer dad is I literally go read the book. So either I'll disagree with whatever fact you're operating on, or it'll persuade me into stepping closer to truth and go, oh my God, I was dumb the whole time. This is it. So I can point to where you can find all this. But what's crazy is it's so untethered from our reality that it's so fantastical. They never even take that step to look into it. One, because there's no way it's real. But in the off chance it is so reality shattering that they can't afford for it to be real. It would shatter every picket fence, like way they've conjured up or created this reality, and they can't afford that. So, Doug, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, the main reason I brought up the Cleveland dude is because honestly, that happened when we were, I don't know, still in high school, I think. And so it's like, that was my realization of like, oh, wow, this kind of does happen, because growing up, it wasn't on our mind. And that kind of made it more in front of us, at least being in our backyard.
Right.
It is different, but I was just saying, like, that's what kind of made me go, oh, wow.
Still has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No,
so
I know.
Appreciate you doubling down. And shout out to Fitty Cat and the Zales OG, kicking it. Jump in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts.
I just can I ask another question? Though?
Please.
I'm just thinking like that again, the cabal. Going off Doug's point,
Cabal.
Like, local people, I get it.
Love that.
Like, local people, sure, but it's like I think of like the cabal of like 850,000 kids disappeared. Like, where are they getting these kids though? That's like the thing that, because like again, like we brought up like the idea of suburbia. It's like in suburbia, like I never heard of like a little kid getting just snatched, gone, disappeared. Never heard about the kid again. You know what I mean? But it's like the idea of like these 850, and it's like comes back to the Wayfair thing and people ordering hot dogs from years ago. It's like,
thank you for bringing it back to
it's
that.
like, where are these kids coming from and where do they go? You know what I mean? Like that's what freaks me the most
again,
out about it.
I agree. Beautiful point. And what we must demand as a populace is kind of like why Trump's the beacon for all the attention at the top, right? We must demand the most from the highest point.
Mhm.
And so looking at somebody like Obama,
Yep.
brother, you're not allowed to lecture a soul or take a public stage and browbeat another person until you explain these series of emails to and from Hillary Clinton inquiring about Asian hot dogs, Asian pizzas, black pizzas, white pizzas, male hot dogs. What are you talking about? And what did you need 8,000 of them for?
It's a big party. We got a big party going on. We got a graduation party for my daughter.
The fact that something so close to the line is being transmitted and orchestrated through our tax-paid these are tax-paid equipment. This is our computers, our software. You're conducting not only the most vile thing a being could do, but it's like we're paying for it.
Yep.
That's insane to me.
That and the Gypsies Iron Dome. We pay for that too. We love that one. Do you think one final question, I guess.
Please.
We have been beating this, but since Trump, obviously he is the most famous, but do you think he's purposely being like the beacon one only being discussed? Like, would you put it past him to be like him coming out and be like, there's no list, there's nothing on it. It never existed, but yet there's people consistently being like, all evidence does point in a direction, and he's the one name we see. We all know there are other names. Clearly, she said in the interview, the Clintons, the hot dog eating guys, but like it always, like it's only discussed Trump. Do you think he's intentionally doing that? Meaning to prevent others from being like,
well, what I do think is going on,
implicated, like just like have them all focus on me. They really can't do anything because like that's the bad truth.
What I think it is I think it is a dog whistle to every person implicated that the government at the highest level is protecting you in this situation situation.
That's kind of what I meant. Yeah, that's kind of
it is a broadcast to all of the people implicated that you are protected at the highest level.
Yeah.
And I also do think at this point he is implicated.
Oh, 100%.
I think he's involved. The fact that he just jumped lockstep into the evil Middle East, New Jersey over there, just like, all right, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Push the button. Boom. It's like, where did this come from? Considering, like the list, this is nothing any of us voted for. Non-interventionist, no wars, least wars of all presidents. For the New Jersey, Middle East people, we're going to turn the whole Middle East into glass. Where did this come from? I don't know. So one other thing that I wanted to season the consideration with is, so there's a lot more slides. Do we need to present the folks with her vindicating Trump? I mean, I don't find it necessary because personally, I'm not buying it to begin with.
No, I mean,
so
the information's out there. You can go literally read it word for word. I don't need to hear her voice say it.
Exactly.
And she's saying what we've all known for quite some time. Is that he's implicated. Don't trust a word she says unless there's concrete proof behind it. So her saying he's all good, you're an idiot if you buy that.
Exactly.
And you're also a bigger idiot if you're a MAGA person and you were like, I can't believe he was on the list. Like, are you really the IQ that low? What are we doing here?
Shock. I had hoped better, but here we are. They are as low as they said they were.
I was shocked that they were like, I can't believe it.
Dude, he was the first one they pointed to.
Sweetheart, let me sit you down real quick. Let's have a
All
conversation.
signs point to yes. Like, there's an interview of Trump where he's like, all the ladies love me. They love me. All ages, every age. They all love me. And they're like, every age? What age is too young? He's like, I don't know. Everybody loves me. As young as 12. And they're like, 12?
That's how loose you could be with your tongue when you're that in
Powerful.
that.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, you know,
I mean, when it was
saying.
literally just in your lap, like, how do you distinguish the two realities? The reality we're all living in is fabricated to him.
Mhm.
To him, that's just phony Shakespearean play. This is the real deal.
It's what did they say in Succession? You know, on the end of season 1 when Kendall and that kid getting that crash, and his dad's like, he was not a real person.
Yeah.
He's like he essentially like it's like a code. It was like an acronym for it too. Then when I looked into it, it's like not real person. I was like, whoa, that was a kid.
Dude, you nailed it.
You know,
You nailed it. We have to remember who we're talking about.
yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell is a convicted child sex trafficker. Plain and simple. Maxwell was convicted of this, recruited vulnerable teens as young as 14, grooming them for Epstein's twisted tastes. And this isn't ancient history. It's re-victimization by transcript. The Joffrey family cries injustice, saying this isn't about transparency. It's narrative control. Now, consider the players. The DOJ's guy holding the tape, Todd Blanche. He happens to be Trump's former criminal defense attorney. Talk about mixing church and state. Did someone say quid pro quo? I just... Maxwell sings a melody of innocence regarding Trump, and poof, she gets preferential treatment, cozy prisons, and airtime. Could this be an orchestrated fluff piece masquerading as truth? The question we whisper in shadowy corners, whose interests are being served here? Definitely not survivors, not the public, someone bigger, someone with the motive and muscle, and someone who benefits. I'm going to just close my whole point out because I really do think we could go on forever. And I'm so unsatisfied with something that the media is proclaiming as a bombshell. This is huge. It's earth-shattering. Not to me. This is just another day of something I've used on the podcast before, a trick my dad would play on me at child's age. Look over here at the birdie. Whap! That's been the JFK files, the MLK files, the Ghislaine Maxwell interview. How funny is it going back to a point you made? You're like, I didn't even know this happened. This happened in July, and now we get the transcript. It's like, so why were you effing with us at the beginning of July going like, ooh, you know what we might do? You guys are pissed that we're not giving you the list. We might pull her out of the jail and interview her. And we're like, do it. Still won't be satisfied because we know it's all shit, but do that thing. And they did it. They did it at that time. So you planted the seed, you did your psyop, you manipulated the people, see how they played it, and then you decided how you were going to move forward, releasing the totally clean, totally unmanipulated transcripts. So again, here we stand. In the aftermath of Maxwell's solo performance, a convicted trafficker, a politician defender, and a public left to decipher the script. I'll tell you this, never trust the narrative ordained by those at the top. The DOJ hands you transparency, but is it the entire story or just carefully curated chapters sanitized for political theater? We must ask, why now? Why her praise of Trump? Why the cushy prison? Why the cushy prison upgrade?
Cushy.
Patterns don't lie. They scream. So, dear truth seekers, keep your tinfoil hats polished, your skepticism fierce, and your questions relentless, because this ain't just a transcript. It's a reminder that in the game of power, even the guilty can get microphones. And that, my friends, is the illusion the deep state thrives on. Do you have any wrapping thoughts closing this whole thing out?
Not particularly. I think we hashed out a lot of really good points. I mean, I feel like if people don't know where I stand on this, they missed the first part of this show.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Doug, wrapping thoughts? Anything you want to throw out there? Any other Cleveland people that might be indicated by this?
I'm just actually surprised that 850,000 number isn't out there more. Like that stuck with me when you said that. I was like, That many.
That's what yeah, thank you. I'm so glad that bothers you because we should be totally exclaiming that so much more.
Like 1 million people. Like I can't
Gone, just gone.
I
Wait,
can't comprehend-
baby children.
Yeah.
Like you guess what? I'm 31 in a month turning 32. You go, hey, that guy died. People are like, okay, he had a chance. He had a good run at it. That's a bummer. This is the babies. They're taking the kids. I'm at a loss. What else matters? Like, maybe you guys can ground me. Maybe I am breaking into the schizophrenia. I don't know. But enough people in my circle are like, dude, just kick back. Forget about. How? How do you forget? Doug, that's a real closing point because the truth is, why is this not something we're talking about every day? Every day kids are going, bye-bye, just gone. And then you turn on things like Squid Games and you're like, la, 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 just compartmentalize forgetting. Like, I really can't think about the movie Taken, where it's a bunch of those VIPs in a room and they just pull a kid into this mirrored glass, 5-way, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 50,000. That baby's mine. That person should never be able to live. They definitely shouldn't be able to take your tax. They definitely shouldn't be able to take your tax dollars. They definitely shouldn't be able to fight wars on your behalf, throw your children to death in a nonsensical fight that we have no say in. The fact that Gaza is just straight up starving to death. I saw a video today of just obliteration, wiped out to dust, and just the city as far as you could see, obliterated. And they're like, wow, this is the sight of a victim. Like these are the perpetrators and the victims are defending themselves. It's just like, how do you sit by and just know that that's going on? That a kid is just dying. Like this is not a beat I was marching to a year ago, 2 years ago. But there's so many facts that I can't even say on these platforms. How insane is that? That my channel is not large enough for me to say the truth, that I have to push you to the real truth seekers that could say it and transcend the algorithms. Candace will tell you it all for you. To go talk to Dave Smith. It's funny? Joe Rogan, the greatest fall off of entertainment. His comments, first comment every time. YouTube, Spotify. I didn't even know Spotify had comments until I started looking at these, and shit, they're hilarious. Number one comment every time. Use this as the Alex Jones button. Dude, now every person is demanding. Bring him back. Everybody is hating Joe. The show's just greatest fall off. And did you see today? Dave Smith. So it's like right when things are drying up and dying, it's like, bring the only good thing back. They keep making jokes like, oh, why you keep having this guy on every other month anymore? He's the only guy bringing you numbers. He's got the audience now. Some nobody comedian he's never been there. He's not an expert, but he's got the bigger audience, Douglas Murray. So it's one of these places where, getting back to what I was going to say, I wish I could just start fact vomiting all of the things that just make this image so clear. But they own, and you're going to see this for the rest of the episode. Everything's compromised, from pharmacy to tech, and I need to get to you. I need to be able to talk to you, and I won't be able to accomplish that if I say too much of the truth to where Silicon Valley steps in. I got to see what our boy Murphy has here. So this is Murphy. I got to love it. This is also a vet, so thank you for your service. War should be up to the citizens, not Congress. It should be a majority vote, and everyone that votes yes has to fight. Oh, I love that ending caveat. That is perfect. It's been proposed twice. The last time was 1914. Well, nothing better than a little over a century later, we demand it.
It's funny. That's right before World War I.
Right?
Yeah.
And they didn't have a choice, as instead of fighting evil like they played it off in all our history books written by the Maxwells and Rothschilds, even though that's what they told us they were doing, they were fighting evil. really what they were doing was destroying our history, just going around destroying all of the history, so that way we won't find out the hidden past that they're just doing a fantastic job burying. We really got lost in the conspiracy world with this one. I'm hoping we can take a little breath with an equally alarming topic, but not as conspiratorial. Just a little bit more real. So we're going to be talking about Elon Musk, and he is doing a groundbreaking, some are saying, and others saying economy-shattering lawsuit. We'll be eager to see how it plays out. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fellow survivors of the great push notification epidemic, let me tell you a story of kings, kingdoms, and very, very expensive toys. Our characters: Apple, the crowned jewel of Silicon Valley; OpenAI, the wizard with the talking robot brain; and of course, Elon Musk, the man who can launch a car in space but apparently can't get his app to trend above Talking Cat Filter 2.0 in the App Store. Here's the setup. Musk says Apple and OpenAI are in cahoots, that they're teaming up, scheming, conspiring, colluding, plotting. A Shakespearean duo of monopolists determined to crush any competition in artificial intelligence. And who's at the top of their hit list? Elon's baby, Grok. Yes, Grok. With 1 million reviews and a 4.9 star rating, Musk says Grok deserves the crown, but instead, Apple's App Store keeps handing the scepter back to ChatGPT. So Elon did what any rational billionaire would do. He filed a lawsuit. And not just any lawsuit, a 61-page Texas-sized complaint accusing Apple of rigging its rankings, unfairly boosting ChatGPT, and basically treating Grok like the weird kid at the prom who showed up in a tuxedo made of duct tape. The lawsuit, of course, paints Apple as paranoid. Why? Because Apple sees AI as an existential threat. An existential threat, however, they will just hijack my phone in the middle of working at 12 in the just midnight. Phone just goes off because update, and now it's like, oh, welcome, hello, you've got AI now. It's like, I would have stopped that if I was more on top of it. Anyway, but they're paranoid. They fear the hell out of it. The iPhone, their precious iPhone, might one day be replaced by an all-in-one super app. A super app like, well, the one Elon Musk has been trying to build with X. Remember when it was just Twitter? Now it's a bank, a video platform, a job board, and apparently a chatbot nursery. And OpenAI, well, according to Elon, they're not benevolent nonprofit saviors that they promise to be. No. They're power-hungry profit machines. He's suing them too in another court because apparently one lawsuit just isn't enough cardio. Now, the fun part, Apple, of course, didn't answer any questions. They went full mime. OpenAI, on the other hand, fired back. This is harassment. Pure Elon Musk harassment, which, if you've seen his Twitter feed, his X feed, maybe not entirely off base. And here's the kicker. This fight isn't just about who has the better chatbot. Oh, no. It's about whether courts in the U.S. are ready to define what the AI market even is. Imagine that. The future of artificial intelligence reduced to a courtroom squabble that basically boils down to my bot's better than your bot. Yeah. This isn't just tech. This is theater. The clash of titans, the rise of algorithms, the fall of civility. Forget Shakespeare. We've got Musk versus Apple versus OpenAI. And the prize? Control of the most powerful technology humanity has ever created. There you go. You excited for this lawsuit? You think it's necessary? I mean, it also brings about bragging rights in the App Store.
I don't think any of this is necessary. Realistically, I don't think any of this needs to be happening. But as what happened to your iPhone at midnight, Damn it, it's gonna happen. So I'm putting my money on Musk. I wouldn't bet big, but guy hasn't taken an L in a while, so I'm gonna go with Musk on this one.
Funny take, but accurate. I can't argue its accuracy. Just this past week, we had an episode of the Rethink Tank podcast released on Thursday. And one of the things that we investigate is whether AI is the modern Ouija board. And it is a crazy investigation. A major element of that podcast is Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, who ironically started the company with Elon Musk. And so one of the cool things we do in that episode is you see an interview of a young Elon Musk at the beginning of OpenAI being interviewed by a young Sam Altman, and their kind of future predictions of AI and everything, and then how this results in, now fast forward the clock, a war between Elon Musk and OpenAI, or Sam Altman. There's a recent interview with Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson where Elon just rips it, sounds the alarm. I think he's evil. I think Sam Altman, I think OpenAI is evil. And, it is crazy that they were started with Elon Musk. They were started as a non-profit organization. And now OpenAI is a very, very for-profit organization. So it's an interesting evolution. It's important to keep in mind this dynamic as they're going through their legal battles and considerations. But we are at a point where, are we going to let Apple decide the future of AI? Because there's a lot of moral ambiguity with something like OpenAI, and we're forced to hope they have a strong moral compass versus knowing they're trustworthy.
They don't.
They don't what?
Have a strong moral compass.
Exactly. Well, but I'm just saying any
In
AI,
general, yeah,
like if you were to pick
idea.
any AI, you're either at their mercy or you can
Let me
trust
ask you
them.
a question. Would you rather have it be OpenAI be controlled by a company or an individual?
Well, it was supposed to be a decentralized network with what do they call that? Open source. So, I'd rather it be open source where we can all read the algorithm. Like, do you know how many times, just even preparing monologues, if I'm ever doing anything with ChatGPT, I'm like, I literally yell at it. Dispel all of the liberal BS. You're playing a character. This isn't real. Now you're going to say what I want to say. This is all theater. I have to do that, or else it's going to try to force upon its liberal truth that's programmed into it. So again, you're at the mercy of whatever. Yeah. If it was open source, we get to see, oh my God, you literally ignore any question about that evil Middle East country the size of New Jersey. It's just like anytime you bring it, and you could see it in the code, that would be a problem. Real quick, Doug's itching to jump in.
Well, we've talked about this on our show before when we talked about Facebook and stuff. There aren't many laws governing internet, social media, none really with AI because it's so new. And we talked about how they are always willing to kind of jump through hoops with the government or make deals with each other because they don't want any sort of regulation. Well, I'm shocked that that Apple is going to I'm shocked either one of them are in a court case because now their future is up to a court. They are now in the system, whereas they were the Wild West before, free reign. So I can't believe either one of them would think going to court would be good for AI. Am I wrong? I mean,
but I think it's an inevitability that it will go to court.
Oh, eventually.
Here's what it
took
is.
Themselves.
Exactly to Doug's point. It was the Wild Wild West. As we know about all wild countries, they only stay untamed for so long. Right. And so part of the market strategy of an Elon Musk here is they're eventually going to draw lines. Let me make sure I'm a part of that line drawing.
Yeah, I could see him doing that for this reason. I mean, why wouldn't he be? I mean, why wouldn't he be? He wants his hand in everything, and he definitely is. I mean, for better or worse, but kind of goes into like people don't think they're evil. Like he completely believes his moral compass is the right way,
And
regardless of what his choices are.
and looking at a topic specifically like this, right? Like AI, since the inception of it being socially introduced to the public, he has been a voice of reason, an alarm for concern. Like he's been the one. Yes, exactly, trying to keep people conscious.
Like when I not to cut you off, but like when I brought up like the idea of like a company or an individual, it's like he is the one main individual speaking of like what AI and like the pros and cons are.
Right. So in many ways, it's like if someone's gonna do it, I'd like it to be the guy that's been outwardly proclaiming our interest from the beginning, even if it's all a gameplay and I'm being manipulated. Sam Altman isn't playing that game.
Well, we're not hearing from Sam Altman. We're hearing from Apple.
Well, so Apple, there's that is the interesting like dynamic here. They're two very separate entities co-piloting the same problem. So Apple, we've now in this corporate world created king-like power, which is so true. We are governed not by our politicians.
Real quick.
Exactly.
It's
but by
like
our corporations.
the Alien universe, Weyland Yutani Corp and all the other corporations running the world. Evil corporations.
That's genuinely like a really good analogy.
Yep.
So it is.
It is. It's like spot on.
What we're living is an oligarch. It is. Companies are the real government, and they've done a fantastic job of hiding that fact. So it isn't the president or your governor who you voted for that's steering the ship of who is going to dominate the AI space moving forward. It's Apple and Tim Cook choosing that on your behalf. And so Apple gets to sit back and go, which is the AI I want to shape the future of the world? And they, the kings in the high castle, chose OpenAI. So the beef is directly with Apple in terms of creating this monopoly in a new market. However, with a totally different lawsuit, OpenAI is still an adverse actor to Elon Musk and Grok. Yeah, what's up?
Isn't this lawsuit mainly because, from what I read, on Apple phones or devices, their app store is pushing and advertising ChatGPT more than any other one?
Well, no, what it will be is now the iPhone is going to be working solely through one predominant AI. It's going to be ChatGPT. Well, this is that. This is Siri AI. Yeah. And it will be able to do anything for you. Well, the fact that it's integrated in these iPhones, now it's like OpenAI is the only AI option, it's kind of like, remember when you bought an iPhone in 2001? And
is it even available in 2001?
Totally.
An iPhone?
iPhone?
You had the first one. We were like in 8th grade.
Yeah. That was like in middle school, high school.
Maybe the first like
09.
iPod.
Yeah, iPods. iPod Touch came out when we were in.
Maybe I'm thinking
back then.
Like a BlackBerry. BlackBerry was big in like the early 2000s.
Oh, BlackBerry was huge.
2007.
Yeah, literally 8th grade. Yeah.
Well, it was 8th grade. Yes. No, 100%. I was just okay.
No,
2007.
That just blew my mind when you said that. I was like,
yeah, I was like, what?
We were sleeping on these for like 6-7 years before Alex showed up with one. Sorry, continue. Like threw me, man.
So I was thinking 8 years old. So it's the same. Like, so the original iPhone had Safari.
Oh man.
And that would run through Bing. Then Google sued and it became a whole thing. So it's just funny. It's like, this is pretty much the same fight in a different sector.
Well, and I do got to say, like, I have a Google phone different than you guys, but Gemini, which is their AI, isn't the sole thing. Like I can set anything as my main. I just have the basic Google Assistant that came with it because I like it better than having Gemini, because then it's just Gemini that like by default, but you can set that. So it's like, I think it's pretty interesting that Apple's just going to have just that.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So let's peel back the shiny touchscreen Surface. This isn't the first time Apple's been dragged into court over its app store. Epic Games, the Fortnite folks, already took a swing at them. The DOJ's been circling, and now Elon joins the dance. But the deeper question is this: do we even want Apple as the gatekeeper of AI? One company deciding what app you see first, which AI gets the spotlight, who gets to whisper in your digital ear? And Musk is the underdog here, or just another titan throwing a tantrum because his billion-dollar empire isn't trending. On the other hand, Grok might really be shut out by far the greater in this competition. On the other side, Musk wants us to believe he's David, not Goliath, which is rich coming from the man who literally owns rockets. On this same subject, when we consider OpenAI, the darling of Silicon Valley, now accused of betrayal, greed, and collusion, if this were a play, they'd be the former hero turned villain, the Jedi turned Sith. But here's the twist. This lawsuit could become the first real test case of how courts treat AI in antitrust law. Are chatbots like phones, games, and credit cards? Or is this AI so new, so vast, that we can't even define that battlefield yet?
That's where I kind of lean.
Do you?
Yeah. And that's why I think, like, Doug brought it up, and I just, like, you and I agreed, like, it's just inevitability that this is going to go to court, because it's such a vast, vague thing at the moment that it's like there's going to be some legal battles that are really going to set a precedent going forward. Whereas like phones, games, and credit cards, sure, like there are precedents for them, obviously, but like there's not really many new ones coming out. And for like AI, it's like, where do you even start? Where do you even go then from like the first step to the second step to the third step? And it's like the steps seem unlimited because AI seems unlimited, is unlimited. So
and what just completely deflates my confidence is this gets us right back to, Ruth Bader Ginsburg browbeating Mark Zuckerberg. What is a like? And it's like, lady, we're so past that. You can't be. And so now we're in a world of AI. I actually want a 15-year-old to do dispositions. Like you ask the questions.
For real. Get the kids who are working Roblox, not the weird ones, but like the kids that are working Roblox to like ask these questions.
Seriously.
Like what? I wouldn't even know where to start with my disposition. You know what I mean? Like I'm 31. I don't know where I'd start. And then where do I go next? That's why like I understand like Musk is the underdog in this. And again, he's sending us to potentially Mars someday, but it's like, definitely want him asking questions.
Yes.
I don't know what questions I'd ask. And especially like the idea of like, again, it's another corporation. And again, Apple just happens to be the one in this situation. Funny enough, this whole conversation, I'm like, man, I can't believe it's not Microsoft. You know what I mean? Like just like these other
interesting.
Yeah. These other corporations that could put like their hand in the pot. I understand Apple, like with the iPhone, they want to get it on the App Store, stuff like that. But again, then you just look at Musk and he's just like,
I was about to say, dude, I hate to be that jerk, but it's like, that is the magic hand of Elon Musk.
Yes.
The man that wore a Satan soldier uniform as his profile picture for the first 2 years of owning Twitter. This guy has been at the center. You're going to what? Occam's razor, Occam's razor, that's what they always tell me. What's more likely that this one man is Superman brilliant? He's the most brilliant in making tunnel trains. No, Superman, jack of all trades, the greatest of all talents, but with brain power. Here's a guy who can develop trains that go underground, electric cars, flamethrowers, space rockets, self-landing rockets. He's at the center. PayPal, OpenAI. Like when you go, I'm surprised it wasn't Microsoft. No, it wasn't Bill
No.
Gates.
I mean,
no.
Microsoft
Just
and
real
Apple
quick to finish the
says.
thought. It isn't Microsoft. It's Elon Musk.
Oh,
Like,
okay. I see
so
what you
it's
mean.
like, here's the guy who did it.
Yeah.
And he's at the center of all of this. He's at the center of OpenAI. He's at the center of Grok. So either he is taking his Alex Jones DMT and tapping into the demons that are giving him all these answers, or he's got this super genius that like no human. I was just listening to Dave Smith and Joe Rogan. What about being an expert? He's like, even if you were an absolute expert, and just pick it, AI, there's no world you're also an expert in space, in economics. The fact that this guy is an expert in literally everything he's involved in, and they're so just strictly different. How do you continue to master something like that? Something tells me he's either being influenced, manipulated, helped, assisted, or he is just that super genius.
It could be either of them, and I wish I could tell which one is which,
Right.
because when it comes to him, it's like it can easily.
He's
be
an
the latter.
elusive mystery man.
Yeah, it's at the same time, I have such a hard pushback with like Apple or like just a corporation having that control still. So I don't know. It's a weird.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we've got a big lawsuit that's going to develop in front of our eyes. Grab your popcorn because it's going to show us the future, not only of AI, but just all markets moving forward. So getting into our wrapping thoughts here, where does this leave us? 3 giants locked into a triangle of accusations, partnerships, betrayals, and lawsuits. Apple, the polished gatekeeper; OpenAI, the wizard turned warlord; Elon Musk, the trickster king, hurling lawsuits like lightning bolts. The audience, that's us, is left wondering who is really protecting us, who is really innovating, who's really pulling the strings behind the curtain of AI. And maybe that's the point. In the end, this isn't about Grok versus ChatGPT. It's about power. It's about who gets to shape the future of intelligence, artificial or otherwise. So sit back, grab your popcorn, because no matter how the lawsuits end, one thing's for certain: the drama of tech billionaires will never, ever let us get bored. Do you have any wrapping thoughts, Will?
No, that was a really good ending there.
Yeah.
I pretty much Elon Musk, the trickster king. That's like the perfect way to describe him. Like,
I
really
like
is.
it.
It's like, yeah, it really is.
Doug, wrapping thoughts.
I also know I feel like we did well, and then that nailed it at the end.
Cheers.
Yeah, that was a good wrapping.
Yes,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
well, now this one I know neither of you are ready for. This one, Doug likes to pride himself in, this was one of my articles.
Doug's dumps.
We're getting lost in the weeds and putting our tinfoil hat on when Doug is a part of none of them. He did kind of flirt with the Ghislaine Maxwell one, so I'll give him credit for the first one, maybe.
Well, I saw that one and sent it to you, but clearly you were already on top of it.
Oh,
They-
dude, he's been on top of it since mid-July. What are you talking about? They dropped those transcripts,
Say
and the
what?
one man in America was like, "I'm listening. I'm listening to that."
Ladies and gentlemen, gather around, because tonight's tale isn't about Shakespearean betrayal or Greek tragedy. No. This is about something far juicier. Biosurveillance. Sounds like a rejected Netflix thriller, doesn't it? But no, it's very real, and it's creeping quietly into our lives like your nosy neighbor with binoculars, except this neighbor has $1 billion funding and a badge from the government. See, the United States government, with a little help from their besties in big pharma and tech, has been building something slick. They call it biosurveillance, a fancy way of saying we're watching your body, your health, your movements, but probably not your cholesterol. They pitch it as protection, preparedness, safety. But if you squint, it starts to look less like warm blankets and more like a straitjacket. Let's start with the Department of Defense and the White House. They're pouring money into research programs designed to detect outbreaks before they start. Sounds noble, right? Except their plan looks less like spotting sniffles and more like tracking every sneeze, every cough, every beat your heart has in real time. They want to monitor populations like stock portfolios, ups, downs, projections, risk assessments. And then it comes with shiny tech, algorithms that comb through your phone data, apps that check your vaccine status, and AI that tries to predict if you're about to get sick. It's like WebMD crossed with Minority Report. Imagine sneezing on a bus or maybe tweeting unfavorably, and somewhere in Washington, a red light flashes. Code SNOT, patient 0 detected. But wait, the rabbit hole goes deeper. While the tech whizzes do their thing, regulators are lowering the bar for drug approvals. Faster trials, looser safety checks, warp speed vaccines. The motto is, why wait 5 years when you can approve it in 5 months? Now, don't get me wrong, nobody loves paperwork, but when your safety net just starts looking like a spider web with giant holes, maybe, just maybe, you should ask about who benefits. Ah, yes. Speaking about who benefits, say hello to Big Pharma, our friendly neighborhood trillion-dollar juggernaut. These corporations love biosurveillance because it means endless demand. Track the bugs, sell the drugs. And let's not forget their glamorous sponsors, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and a handful of private investors who can smell profit like sharks smell blood. But the piece de resistance, vaccine passports. Oh, yes, the golden ticket of the 2020s. The idea that one little app can decide where you can go, what you can do, who you can see. It's where health meets border control meets Black Mirror episode. The promise? Freedom. The reality? A velvet rope with a biometric scanner. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the plot thickens. Under the warm glow of public safety, a global web of surveillance, pharma, and policy is knitting itself together. You can call it progress or you can call it control. Either way, one thing is clear. Your body is now a data point. You excited?
You know, there was
biosurveillance.
There was a part in it when it mentioned like you know, you have your sneaky neighbors with the binoculars. I was like, could you imagine living like in suburban Brecksville, right? And you're like, your family's development. And like your neighbor just happens to be like a biopharmaceutical, like big pharma, like CEO, just looking at you with the binocular the whole time. But like while he's doing that, he's like writing down stuff the whole time. Like he's keeping stats and stuff, you know?
You just see him consult his
notepad. Like he's like, I actually want, you know, instead of looking at the app, I want to get some real on the ground footage. And just is like, instead of mowing his lawn ever, it just keeps growing. He's just in his yard, just like writing down what he's seeing the neighbors do.
Mom, he's watching me again.
And he's just like, he's just a little weird. He's just a little weird. But like his house is just huge.
Then just after like 6 months, he just appears everywhere you go.
That's what I mean.
I can predict you.
You're at Heinen's and he's just like still watching, ready.
He is literally predicting my movement, Mom.
You're looking at your portfolio, like at your computer, and like he's in the window, like on like a ladder and binoculars looking in like.
You're about to reach for lunch. He's no. Cholesterol's too high.
Yeah. You're reaching for something and you just hear someone in the background. Not that one.
Jeez, like, that is the world we're living in.
But it's like that's what it reminded me of, because it's like, I mean, yeah, they're technically already doing that. It's just not someone literally looking at you with binoculars.
And we live in an interesting dynamic, right? Right now, our world is run by insurance. So like we could assume that with a lot of these data points and marketing, but really behavior manipulation, they'll have your health in interest, because here's something they profit off of.
They can drain you for more money the longer you live.
Right. Yeah. Well, and even more so, if they're not paying for a $200,000 heart procedure, they save that money. So let's keep your cholesterol low so you don't need all these procedures and medications and everything else. So
just the binocular guy watches you grab another donut. He's just sorry, I don't mean to make light, but like That's what they do. They're doing it without actually doing that.
Yeah,
you
really,
know?
it's an AI. You can't even
Yeah.
sigh for me.
Your AI knows when you go to the bathroom on schedule. They're like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. Aren't you gonna go?
He did it again.
Yeah.
Another dab and more gummy worms.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Oh, you died in Fortnite. You died in Fortnite. Another one.
Another Snickers bar. He died in Fortnite. Pavlov's dogs. He died in Fortnite.
That's like the creepy. And again, you brought up the passport 2020 and like that. And it's like, yeah, that was the year you really saw them try to just reach in and have that control. And thankfully, like there was enough pushback or like just resistance to it. But it was weird to see like that initial like grab. And they didn't even hide it. They really reached for it. Like they grabbed you by the collar and you're like, hey, we're watching you.
It's going to be just like China. The social credit score. Oh, shit. We got to hide this for a minute.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was literally that
got
order.
brought up so quick. And then everybody was like, no. And they're like, all right.
We're going to be doing this. We're also creating a ministry of truth. China gave us the idea. Excuse me? Yeah, this is all bad. We're going to get rid
in
of
the
it.
folder that said pull out in 2028.
First, get the racist brown lady in. Boop.
Second,
shit.
grab the file.
We didn't even get to. We didn't get past
I
one.
think as soon as 2028, the only time you ever see your neighbor leave without following you, and he just has a file in his hand, he just rushes to his car. You know,
It's beyond donuts.
but
now.
it's the first time he actually looks at you and is like, "Hey, lovely weather." Just gets in his car and goes. You're like, "What just happened?"
So, what I'd like to believe is with this technology, biosurveillance, at first, there's going to be a good intention. Not even the intention will be good. It will be the byproduct, your health, will be positive.
Right.
The goal, data and control. And so it'll start with, hey, let's cut down on the fatties. It's costing us insurance companies more money. Let's keep them healthy. And like Doug said, the longer you live, the more you're paying me. Good all around. On the flip side, however, this is now a new tool we have. And what do we use these data points for? We control, we manipulate. So now we'll be able to guide and steer behavior. So at first it'll be, let's guide them away from the fried chicken and towards the apple. But it will quickly become, did you see what he tweeted about Gaza?
That's too good. That was great. I did not see that coming. It was like, Apple, what's he gonna get next? A pear? Whoa.
So that's the problem. Is like they're gonna be like, well, we do need to hijack his self-driving car and take it over the cliff. Did you? It's his cholesterol.
His cholesterol took him off the 480. I don't know what happened there.
Exactly.
That was amazing. Thank you for that.
So here's the kicker. Once you start down this road, where does it stop? If the government can track your health for safety, why not your diet, your sleep, your thoughts? Don't laugh. Facebook already thinks it knows what you'll buy before you do. Biosurveillance just takes it a step further. Instead of predicting what you'll shop for, it predicts what disease you'll catch. And then voila, they've got the cure ready on the shelf for you at a premium, of course. And let's not ignore the power shift. If Big Pharma holds the keys and governments enforce the rules, where does the individual stand? We've gone from my body, my choice to my body, their data. Privacy starts to look a lot like a relic, similar to a rotary phone or Blockbuster rentals. Now, I'm not here to say we shouldn't have health systems or that vaccines are evil incarnate. That's too easy and too accurate. The real story, the one worth wrestling with, is this. What happens when the line between protection and control blurs beyond recognition? Are we building a safer world or just a shinier cage? What do you think?
Probably the cage.
Because here's what I will say. My dad quite literally had a hole cut out of his head, a dude for 13 hours. I couldn't imagine doing this. Not peeing, not leaving, just for 13 hours, tag teaming with another surgeon, just like pulling a tumor out of a head.
Just like riddled in Adderall.
And yeah, probably. And give him more.
Yeah.
Keep up. That's his limitless pill. Bro is working. But the problem comes with, that's what I was gonna say. This shit works. It works. Like, it's not like we have a failed medical system. It's like a Saudi prince who believes your God is an abomination, puts it all on hold, Sharia law and everything, to bring his wife to your Cleveland clinic.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
It is funny. It's like you brought it up at the start of the diatribe where it was like, you know, it is like about data, but like it's under the like kind of hidden cape of like it's something actually beneficial. And that's why like the overreach is like almost always there for them to have, because like at the end of the day, we all care the most about our health. Like when it comes to like previous topic, like the Chat GPT and the OpenAI, I don't have as much of like a care for, like I still care, but like the instant it's like, oh, related to your health, you know, like when it says like, oh, it's looking at your data of like what you consume and what you buy, and it can predict, but it could also kind of predict. And I'm like, well, don't be, you know, advertising prosthetics to me, because then I'm going to really start freaking out. But like, you know, like I'm going to take notice of that rather than the Chat GPT.
Am I losing my hand?
Yeah, it's like the Chat GPT just redacts Gypsy Land, and I'm like, all right, well, like overlook that easily. Then like, hey, why are prosthetic legs being brought to my attention on Facebook? I was just looking at golf polos, and now it's prosthetic legs. Is something happening here?
What I love about your point more than anything, your strongest nail is people will sacrifice so much for their health. The second you
2020,
bingo,
2020,
the pandemic is the
immediately
perfect
step in line for something. I mean, looking back, it's ridiculous that we did that, but like that's how quick and easy it happened.
Well, and that's what's crazy about this is the chapter 2.
Right.
Chapter 1 was seeing how far they could take it
Mhm.
and seeing what worked. And now chapter 2 is creating the entire system that utilizes the tool and data that they gained and controls us from start to finish.
It's literally just a, like you said, like shinier cage, but like right now what they are doing is putting us in the shiny cage and rattling it. Just like
Yes.
shaking it up a little. How are they going to respond to that?
We are their hamsters.
You know, and then like when there's like a legitimately like very serious like disease or something that spreads. Not saying COVID wasn't, but like something where it's like, oh, this is like actually like terrifying. People are genuinely afraid. People like us are actually afraid to leave our houses.
Right.
That's when it's like, oh,
Dude, I wiped down my groceries.
yeah.
Like you had me wiping down my groceries. I was afraid of my neighbors.
Was that before or after the kids were going into the stores and licking the ice cream?
Ironically, after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
that's what I thought.
yeah.
Okay, I wasn't crazy. I didn't want to just say that.
But wasn't it during the pandemic that the Tide Pod Challenge was a thing?
Yes.
Yes,
that's how
yes.
dumb
But
kids
what
became.
Will's talking about is like the ghetto kids
They
that
would
would
just-
take ice
Oh,
cream
yeah, I
and
know.
lick the
damn
top and
thing,
put it
right?
back.
And I was
Yeah.
like, was that right before or like right after
What's
2020?
crazy is like the diabolical side of, you know, humans capitalizing on the clout. That's been around for before,
True, it
during,
is, yeah.
after. Thank goodness through that experience. And it was like shortly at like, you know, 2021, 2022, as the pandemic was like really in the heart of it, right at the beginning, they started creating case law where it's like a felony.
Yeah.
So now, like,
And honestly,
you
I'm
know
fine
what's
with
going
that. Don't be licking
viral?
the ice cream like that.
Exactly. Well, what's beautiful is you better hope you don't go viral, because if it goes viral, you know what just went viral? The evidence convicting your ass.
Yeah, you know, but not to cut you off, but like, I'm glad that's a criminal offense.
Yeah.
It should be a criminal offense.
Seriously.
Dude, if I was in Iowa and saw a kid do that, I wouldn't even buy any of the groceries.
Just tackle.
I would
him,
just,
like
like, leave.
football. We're back here. It's football. He's got the ball.
No, because I know exactly what would happen. Somehow I would get in trouble.
That is true.
I would somehow get in trouble. They'd film all of it.
Citizens
They'd be like-
arrest, Will. Citizens arrest.
They would like,
Yeah. Put
They
your knee
could.
on right there on his back.
with my luck, they'd be like, "Ah, you shouldn't have hit him that hard. You shouldn't have tackled him into the all the
Ice
ice
cream.
cream. You know, but not to cut you off, but like that's where my mind went. But like back to 2020, it's like dude, you had people shaming people for hosting parties, which made it hysterical when it was people out in LA partying, like in their mansions up in the Hollywood Hills, and like they would shame them and stuff like that. But it's like, that's how rattled the cage was then.
Well, and what's crazy is how much of a peek behind the curtain we got during that
yeah.
period, and yet nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
People are still letting them get away with it.
Actually, I think one of those guys got a pardon.
Yeah. And an infinite pardon,
And
where it's just like you're pardoned for everything during that period.
Yeah.
They'll still get you for AIDS. We're gonna keep you on the hook for that, bitch.
Specific date in 2001. That was weird. I thought that one was kind of curious, but that's okay. That's an oddly specific date you picked.
It is.
Yeah.
So what's
They would have said like 2000. People wouldn't care. They were like, on April 14th in 2013 till now, he's good. What happened on April 13th? What was he doing?
What was I doing on April 12th? Was I not ready for this? But what's sad is this is a capitalization on what they were able to learn and infiltrate during that pandemic.
And it's not going to stop.
And it's not going to stop.
You know.
And we just need to be outwardly aware, advocate for discussion, advocate for really abstention. Like, you guys should abstain from this. This is
I made the joke
absurd.
like the 2028 file, but it's like, no, seriously, like they'll push it and be like, well, 5 years, we'll see what the temperature of the population's like.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you? Like every 5 years, 10 years, you don't know what's going to happen. They don't particularly know what's going to happen in terms of like an event, but it's like, oh, this is a opportunity to capitalize on. Why wouldn't we consider it?
Well, and take things like, this is a precursor for, how about this? When I was really young, it took too long for me to grow. I wasn't tall enough, fast enough.
Dude, I'm still waiting.
I know. And I'm looking at my dad, 6'4", my uncle, 6'6", and you being right next to me, you know, they were so ruthless that it was like, a doctor looked at me and said, you can do an experimental treatment where we will put raw, organic testosterone cells to jumpstart puberty. And it was like, after the second time, it was so like, dude, the needle was so thick because it had cells in it, to the point where I was not chill with this. Like, I was not a calm child.
It just reminds me of Star Wars when she's interrogating Princess Leia and the thing comes in with the giant needle.
I am not kidding you when I tell you my dad, large human, heavyweight, quite literally laid across my torso. Like, I'd lay on my belly so my butt would be out, so my mom could stab me with a syringe. And it was about the second time where we're lying on our child to shank him, and it's like, how bad do you want to be tall?
Dude, need to dunk a basketball that bad.
Exactly. So here's an experimental treatment that we ourselves are like, yeah, you know, this is too much, and it's not worth it. And who knows what down the line you're affecting. This is an experiment, yada, yada, yada.
It's like they do that side effect, that drug, and they're like, side effects might cause bleeding from the ass. And it's just like, okay.
It was the syringe hole, damn it.
Alex, you become like Andre the Giant.
That would be fantastic. That would have been a problem too. Like, just one leg is just huge.
And an alternate
I have a Travis Kelce one leg, and then the rest of my body is me.
In an alternate universe, you're doing this exact same show with that exact same ape behind him, and you look like him. Just huge.
So there's this experimental treatment. What if your biosurveillance indicates that you might have somebody that might be eligible for this experiment and or is within the pre-considerations of somebody that is slow to puberty? So where does my autonomy, how long before this equipment becomes so powerful and so strong that it also strips me of my autonomy? It's one thing for a doctor, but actually an even better example. My dad has brain surgery. There are doctors yelling at him that you need to have this tube in you. You can't eat, so we need to put this tube in you so you can feed through a tube. And I've never seen my dad on such a breaking point. Tears I'm done. I'm done. He sat there for an hour and they're like, I don't know why he's being such a bitch about this. We just need to push the feeding tube like 4 more centimeters and then we could feed him. Turns out for the whole hour, it was sitting in his lung and the human was misreading the x-ray. So what if you've got...
I would be seeing red. Dude.
Right?
Oh my God.
First off, my sister is abnormally intelligent.
Yes, she is.
So here's my sister who's a pharmacist that's just like objecting to it all. And she's in like an ego standoff with the doctor in charge of making the call of my dad's tube. Now, what's great about medicine as it stands currently is we still have the autonomy to take the expert's opinion and still deny it. I'm Amish. I don't want the electric thing you're about to do to me or whatever. Could be religious, could be scientific, could just be based on intuition, spirituality, whatever. But I get to have the final say. How long until this becomes such a blind expert authority? Literally, it's going to talk to us in the Douglas Murray voice. Like, well, I tell you, you can't have the fried chicken. So my question...
Boy, that guy didn't know it, but he made an enemy with someone in the United States that day.
LeBron was relieved. He was like, whoa, I feel like...
He felt the weight lift off his shoulder. Just like, I'm having a good day. Having a really good day.
Someone hates me less. And Douglas was like, whoa. It's got heavy.
Douglas, I'm not going to say it.
So you got someone like Douglas Murray, and he's out here being the voice telling you the expert AI suggests you have to keep this in. You got to keep the feeding tube in. And it's like, well, I want it out. The question begs, how long until this becomes such a blind expertise authority that we lose our autonomy in medicine because it knows what's best? Insurance will be the authority behind it. Financial, that is the reasoning. You need to listen to them because this is the best medical response. Doug, what do you got?
An AI doesn't take a Hippocratic oath.
Even worse. Yeah, it's literally an algorithm. Sam Altman's like, I swore to no one.
That scared the hell out of me. Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome.
Of everything said tonight, that actually scared the hell out of me for a moment.
Just type to ChatGPT, say the oath real quick. Satisfied, Doug. Say it. And he's like, little did you know my digital fingers were crossed.
That's a plot.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a plot in a movie.
Beep, boop,
Instead of putting Ice Cube in the War of the Worlds movie, have him do that instead. Oh my God.
Speaking of haunting truths, let's close this bad boy down. Here's the haunting truth. Every empire believes it's acting for the greater good. The Romans built aqueducts, sure, but they also built chains. Our modern empire builds apps and algorithms. It builds emergency authorizations and partnerships with billionaires, and it builds them fast. So fast, the average citizen barely notices until one day they wake up and realize they're less a citizen and more a subject. And maybe that's the ultimate question for us tonight. Not whether biosurveillance works. Oh, it will work. Not whether big pharma profits. Oh, they'll profit. But whether we, the audience in this grand theater of modern life, are comfortable trading autonomy for the illusion of security. Because the curtain will fall, the lights will dim, and when the final act is written, the question won't be, were we safe? It'll be, were we free? Do you have any wrapping thoughts you'd like to toss in?
Not particular. I think, honestly, we've done a really good job fleshing these out through the conversation, but I would prefer, instead of it being done on my phone, it was just a creepy neighbor actually looking at me with binoculars.
See, now you wish you had the guy with binoculars. See how this happens?
It would at least be interesting.
I think if I Ricky comes over, he makes some jerk chicken, I could buy his goodwill. So every once in a while, give him some mom's muffins. And then it's like, dude, we're homies. Look the other way for a Tuesday. We're in the hot tub.
Yeah, man, kick back, dude. Browns are on, relax, put the notebook down.
Actually, don't watch me while I'm watching the Browns. If you are taking notes of what I'm consuming during the Browns, you'll be like, he medically has to have diabetes right now.
No, see, that's when you flip the script. That's when you flip the script and you watch him kind of lose a little bit and you start writing stuff down.
He's a fan. He's a fan. He's a
He's
fan.
a fan. High blood pressure. You better watch that. You better watch that, man.
Oh, you also feel Myles Garrett's alone on a roster by himself with no assistance.
Oh, and he's tired now too.
First time here?
Yeah. So I mean, that's it. You know, it's great. I can't wait till they bring the file back out. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Douglas, wrapping thoughts.
I definitely just don't want it to go where AI is going to be the ultimate decision on my medical stuff. Like you took it there in this conversation. That's no, I don't want that. I don't want that. And that's my wrapping thought. I don't want that. I want a person that at least can sympathize and not just think 100% about the book, think about the person, which AI
that's
ain't
the
gonna
thing,
do.
though. It's like bringing back to that second topic. It's like, again, it's with this topic, we already saw it happen in 2020, you know, the pushing of the envelope. And it's like this first court case is pushing the envelope with AI. At what point is there going to be a court case where AI is being discussed with like giving medical advice and such like that, and to what degree, what it's hold to? So it's like a stepping stone, you know, and at some point it will get there. So that's a good point, Doug. I agree.
Well, this is one of our favorite parts of the show. We're closing it down, and the best way to close out the Rethink Tank Live is with our Wheel of Topics. This is how we get you, the audience, involved. Doug, one thing that I'm realizing, we're going to have to take just like a 2 seconds so I can get the microphone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, what the heck, Doug?
Doug, put it back on me.
Hi.
Hey. I'm just like thinking though, right? So like this whole AI thing, it's just more like, you know, like you're going to have the serious ones, right? Like the medical one, the one happening right now. I'm sure at some point sports betting will be really brought into it too at some point. But when are we going to get like the really funny ones though? Like the really weird ones. Remember, oh man, we did a topic. God, what did that person, the farting, right? Like they got arrested. Yes, right. So like, when are we going to get like the weird, like AI ones like that, where it's going to be like, why is this actually making headline news? And why am I kind of curious what's going to be the verdict on this? You know what I mean? Like it's going to happen at some point. You're already kind of seeing it with people getting pissed. Like LeBron James is going after people making AI photos of him pregnant. Like that's funny. Like that's good comedy if you ask me.
Well,
But then like at the same time, I'm thinking of like martial law and like Elon Musk. I'm like, well, that's pretty serious. I hope the right decision's made on that one.
Instead of AI, it's going to be like instead of cyber farting, it's going to be the AI predicted every time I farted or every time I go to the bathroom, and they predicted my bathroom patterns, and now I'm stuck.
Yeah, now my phone tells me when to go to the bathroom, and I do.
Now's the time.
And you know
You're like, oh my
the
God.
person who's going to sue them is going to look exactly. It's going to look like the World of Warcraft guy from South Park. You'd be like, of course he has that issue, and now everyone else who may have that issue will have a court proceeding because of this guy.
Exactly.
So it's gonna happen eventually. It'll happen.
I think we're almost here. This, of course, technical difficulties. If this doesn't come on, I'm just going to bring the wheel into frame. Come on. Yeah. We're just going to bring her in. Actually, what I'm going to do is
just turn my camera.
That's what I'm literally love you for that.
Hi, everybody.
There, you can see it, right, Doug?
Yeah, but you
TV.
also got your screen.
You can see the screen a little bit, but that's
Yeah,
all right.
screw them.
That's
They
all
can
right.
figure it out.
We're on the fly.
That's
Do
what
it
I'm
live.
saying. Do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Hey, speaking of
Bill
that,
O'Reilly.
though, I don't think Africa looks at right though. I think something looks off with Africa. Yeah,
Too
just
small?
buff that out. Buff that one out.
Better. Give it to us, baby. Thank you to all you people that give us submissions. Poor Doug can't zoom in. This would be his cue. He'd zoom in. Give you
Oh, what's that one?
not the cracker test again.
Yeah, just roll it, dude.
I'm not doing the cracker. 3 days,
I get it.
3 weeks in a row.
We're three white guys. Okay, we get it. One of us is gonna live.
And then it's my turn. Well, no, we could get Doug doing the cracker test.
Thank God.
Thank God. This is one I really wanted.
Vaping.
Doug. Oh, Doug, this one's so for you. So shout out to Mason. I think it's Casbeer. We're going to get it going here. I have a user submission. Shout out to all the folks that do video submissions for the Wheel of Topics. Doug,
So what's this? It's like
Yes.
you gotta rip a whole vape and like.
Oh no, this is
20
just
minutes?
a topic idea from a viewer.
Okay.
They're gonna give us a topic here. Doug, I got to be honest with you. You're gonna be the first person I'm looking at for responses, because I think you'll be the person that resonates with it the most. So some of the fun things we do here is I get to meet a bunch of interesting folks, and they'll give us video submissions of topics they'd like us to discuss. One of the ones that was a really great talk. I'm trying to find his name here. Mason Casbier. All right, let's get to it here, Doug. Let me know your thoughts. Suggestions for a subject or topic you think people should be thinking about or talking about more. Something that's, not the generic same old bullshit, but something that is maybe unique to you. Vaping. Interesting. What do you mean? Like that? Do you think people are doing it too much, or that it gets a bad rep?
Yeah, the first one.
So is it the culture or the market, like the companies?
The companies, definitely.
Fair. Do you have like personal experiences with it, like people around you, things that has that negative impact?
All right, so I kind of do it myself.
Fair. Hey, listen, my producer plugs his vape into the TV. He just does it all day. So it hits home. Tell him what's up. Tell Doug how he should be living his life. Why does it resonate with you? As somebody that does it, but also
It
doesn't look
sees the other
32.
side.
He's
I
not.
kind of really need to stop
Uh-oh.
because I'm a 5-sport athlete.
Respect.
Cheers, brother.
Alex.
I need to.
Respect.
cut
Is
down
it
a
You
little
should
bit.
have asked him to dunk.
Sport baseball?
How did you know?
Hey, there we go.
Just play.
So, Doug,
Vape Nation.
folks out here are saying you might have a problem.
I mean,
The folks, you.
is it different than?
was you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it different than Will hitting Zin?
Oh,
Here's the
Doug
thing.
with the left hook.
That kid wants to say it's an issue. Yeah, it's an issue for him because he's like fucking 15. Of course it's an issue for you. You shouldn't even be doing that. It's 21 in order to do it in Ohio now. So no, I don't think it's a problem, but I think he's the problem.
Doug, I think this is the perfect platform for you to just say, bring back Mango Jewel.
Bring back the mango. Plus Europe has apple. Oh, that shit was good.
Yep. Bring him back. Bring him back. I don't know why I caught a stray there. I was on his side.
I
but-
know, not anymore.
I was on your side, Doug.
Well, no, because it's no different. Like why is
Hold on, can I
he's
be
worried
honest
about
with
that,
you about
but
the
it's like
difference?
pouches. Like pouches are the new dip.
I
because,
agree. What
it's
I
no
will,
different.
but the only pushback I'll give you, Doug, is with Zins, they share the discreetness. They don't smell like cigarette smoke. They're even less discreet than chewing. You could just swallow it.
No, you don't do that.
I was
Like,
gonna say
you
I didn't know
dispose
you
of
could
it.
do that.
No, you could swallow the spit. So like,
Oh yeah.
you'll
Okay.
have
Yeah.
literally 100% of the time you have it in. It's 100%
I thought you meant
discreet.
swallow the pouch.
That's
I'm
what I
like,
thought
do
you meant.
you
That's what I
do
You'll
that?
spit this, but I mean,
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
you're not walking around with a bottle that's literally vile
Oh,
of all of your spit. You're swallowing it, and it's completely discreet. And then when you're done, yes, Doug, you throw away the leftovers. What I'm getting at though is Zin's playing their game totally right. They're making a meme of like bro culture.
Oh, it's in
Hockey
30.
pucks, Zin 30.
Cappuccino.
Ball
upper decky,
markers that are
a little
upper
lip
decky,
pillow,
bingo.
you
But
know,
that's not
Tucker
for.
Carlson, tuning in for your Lightning edition.
So is it fun for, young kids, that culture of like meme talk? Sure. But nothing of their marketing is directed at kids. What gave Juul and vaping the bad rep that it has is that it literally focused on this is how kids can get it without being seen. It was marketing that message to kids without directly saying it. And they got so close to the line that the government had to intervene.
Well, it's like going through one vape is like 3 packs of cigs.
That's crazy
like,
too.
It's kind of like one of those things. I used to vape back in the day. Sometimes I'll have a few drinks, and like if someone has one, I'll bump a little puff pass. I I find that kid funny. I'm glad he gave this topic because it is funny. Because I like how you were just immediately started. You're like, dude, they're calling you out, Doug, and it's literally you in a 30-second video going like, oh yeah, I agree. My producer.
Yeah. And that kid's like 15. Like, yeah, of course it's a problem because you shouldn't even be able to buy it.
But
So,
like
yeah.
after vaping, going to Zens, it's much easier to stop doing Zen.
That's what I think, man.
Because like the vaping, it became more of like an oral fixation thing.
Thank you.
Let
Bingo.
alone
That's
like
the
for
next
me,
step.
I could go
Yep.
days without popping a Zen. Like I truly can.
That
like the
oral
one-
fixation of being able to like do things with your hands, bring it to your face. It's the same as smoking.
Yeah.
Half of what makes smoking addicting is the preparation, the ritual of it all, and the constantly doing this.
You like smoking, and it's like that's fine, but it's like that's why it's hard to kick. It's much harder to kick, because it's less so about the nicotine. After a few days, yeah, you do kind of get like you're like shit, I miss that buzz. But like for Zins, I could go weekend to weekend, not do it. Like throughout the week and be like, oh, I finished a pack on Sunday. If I finished it on Sunday, I'd be like, I'm not buying another until I'm like having a few drinks later in the week,
Fair.
but like a vape, like that thing's around, I'm hitting it. And that's how I used to always be, so that was hard to kick.
That's
like
fair.
religiously, like you'd finish your vape, you're like, shit, there's a shop right there. I just want to go in and buy one. And the instant you do, you hit it like a son of a gun. The entire first day you have it.
Yeah.
The most impressive thing
Well,
I
because
find
it's
about
so easy.
the most impressive thing I found about Doug is like he still rips the jewel,
Boy,
and it's like, man,
holding it down.
that dude, that's
keeping
like
him
having
alive.
dude. He's like the flip phone of vapors. Like I love that. Like it's so retro.
Oh, dude, you mentioned flip phone. I would buy the new Razor because
That's
it's
not what we're
so
talking about.
retro. No, you mentioned like
You're
I'd be the
such
guy.
a
I
doorknob.
would buy a flip phone.
But that's what I mean. It's
The
like,
new
but that's what I
Razor.
mean. It's like
The new Razor's
he's literally
dope.
using a jewel, and it's like
The new Razor's dope.
yeah. So that's what I mean. That's why it's like I love Doug with it because it's like, dude, anybody can talk about vape culture all they want. That's an OG.
No, Doug, you're a horse. I want to tie you in a barn.
I mean, Kemp's got a barn. You could
Yeah.
ask him.
What's funny?
It might
too?
be
It's-
cheaper rent.
I think of the H3 video from like a decade ago, back before they went off the loony bin and started defending, countries of redacted origin. But like his Vape Nation video was so good back in the day, back in the Wild Wild West of like YouTube. That video was so
Wild
damn
West.
funny. And he was just dressed like an idiot, walking through towns, going into vape shops, like, hey, like, can I try this one out? Can I try that one out? And like he would rip the vape so wrong. Like he would just do a full inhale, just start losing it in front of and the guy would be like, "You're not supposed to inhale like that." Like that was a good rip, but like that.
Like a cigar.
And then he would grab another one, be like, "Can I try this one out?" And do the same thing again. And then while the clouds are in the air, he'd look at the camera and be like, "Vape Nation, Vape Nation." It was to this day, but like that was before like vape culture really popped off. Like it was like a visionary video.
Well, it was that's when vapes were made by your hand. Like you built this
Right.
like contraption. Whereas now Doug just goes to a CVS and gets a little USB card and
Actually, that's a good question. Doug, how long does a 3-pack of vape of Juul last you?
you probably
like
didn't think this
week
episode was
and
going
a
to become
half.
an intervention.
How long?
Like a week and a half.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like that does. It sounds like normal. It sounds like normal. That's like
13 cigarettes in a week and a half. That
that's
sounds
like
about right.
normal vape Juul usage. Like back in the day when I had my Juul, it'd be like, yeah, I'd literally go week to weekend. That's when I get like another 3-pack. I'd be drinking on the weekend, hitting that thing. Like it literally probably wasn't giving me cancer, but it definitely most likely was. And I would do it again next Friday.
I love it. I love it. A graphic that I was thinking about while I was doing it, I'm like, this is taking me way too long to put it together, and I guarantee I'm going to forget to use it. And go figure, I did. So closing it out with my two homies here, let me just remind you that a stop on the Disney cruise was at Little St. James Island. That
Wait,
should be
what?
insane to you.
Legit?
Dude, my mom has the pamphlet from the original Disney cruise when it first came out, stopped in the Bahamas at Little St. James Island. My mom has the pamphlet from when we went, and it literally acknowledges that we stop at Little St. James Island for snorkeling and hanging out, and it's this like private island for beachgoers. the day we were supposed to go, the wake was too high. There was tropical storms apparently, and they weren't able to dock. Like they weren't going to be able to get to the island. When I tell you it made no sense to my like 11-year-old brain, because there was nothing but beautiful tropical weather. I'm looking around like, what are we talking about? So I just think they rolled up Stephen Hawking and they were like, hey, dog's busy. Keep the snorkelers away. We got to let the big dogs eat. All things being said, don't trust what's in front of you. If we made you laugh, if we made you think, though, the best thing you could do to support this show is like and subscribe. Be sure to head on over to the Neuro Gym so you could become a member for free. What's at the Neuro Gym? One, you could find yourself as a part of our wheel of topics here. The whole point of our live show is to get you involved. So we want to get, this is how we correspond and talk and be a part of the community directly with you there at the Neuro Gym. But then also there's member exclusives, like Will, Doug, and I did a unrated version of the Rethink Actions episode. Or actually, it was just Doug and I. Will wasn't cool enough. It was totally unrated and something you can't find on all these platforms here. And it's for members only. It's totally free, but the only way you could access it is be one of us. Join the community. So with all that being said, we've got our Sunday show, the Reactions channel, you know, and oh my God, a graphic that I haven't been able to use in a long time, but coming back this Sunday is the Sunday football review. I'm very excited to be talking football again. And that's on the Rethink Actions channel. We also have our podcast that comes out every Thursday. New episode with Ricky from Just Another Day TV and I, but that's actually going to be coming out next week because I had to put a little pin in it because for any of you true blues that hung out with us for last episode, as you see, it is not on YouTube or anywhere you catch the Rethink Tank. We had some technical difficulties and the last two sections will be clips, but I turned the first section, which was totally mute. I've turned it, redone it, refilmed it, and I'm currently editing it. We're going to have a So Here's Where I'm At about Roblox and how they might be protecting predators more than the kids that use the platform. So look forward to that. That's going to be released this week too. So with all these great shows, all the different content and different channels, if you're looking for one central place where you can find that and become a member, join us and be a part of the Neuro Gym. It's all at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. You can find it in the description here as well. So be sure to head on over so we can catch you next time. But guys, thank you. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, you know, all those things because you're here and you enjoyed it. That means someone else will too. So please throw us a bone. Otherwise, guys, we'll catch you next week. Peace.